Welcome back, everybody, to what would I guess be round 2.1 of the Invitational. This round brought to you by the fact that we didn't plan ahead and think that two competitors would end up in a tie. So you're arriving in the wild card round, and as we do a little quick flyover of the course, let me tell you some things that you already know. A gate hit is, of course, 7 points, a rollover is 10, and a reverse is 2. That's how scoring goes around here, as there are no gate points, and a perfect score is 0. This course starts high atop Oblivion, progresses across Undertaker, moves over through Precious Stones, which is where we are entering right now, across the original side hills, stuck in the trees here a little, wraps around to the Pink Nightmare, which is not featured in many competition areas, moves along, kind of skirts the edge of Sleeping Giant here, and in an attempt to avoid the still completely blown out side hill area, the dirt side hill, takes a little sheer drop off here on its way to descending down the beast. And if you add the start and finish gates to all the gates in between, you come up with 13. So that's what this round is. Lucky 13. Facing the Lucky 13 are just two competitors of today here in the wildcard round. The TRX-4 Defender that is Ironsides up against the, I guess, Element Enduro that is the Banana. So we decided to put the fickle hands of fate a little bit in the hands of the competitors. They are going to roll dice, and as this is a 6 gate, lower scores are better. They're going to roll 3 dice. The Banana rolls his 3 and rolls a 15, which is not probably super great, seeing as the highest you can roll with 3 dice is 18. Ironsides will give his shot at the 3 dice, and he picks up an 8. The lower score means better, which means Ironsides will be going second, and the Banana will be leading off. This first run will be headed south, starting at the top of Oblivion. The Banana already ready up at the staging point. The start and finish gates will be considered live for the Lucky 13, you know, just to get to the winky number. Despite the fact that the start and finish gates are generally placed so wide apart that they'd be impossible to hit, the Banana is taking it cautiously here, as there are no pre-runs here. Competitors just roll out onto the course and give it a try. Nobody tests it. Banana absolutely fine through the first 2 gates. Coming up to gate 3, it kind of does a back and forth between the tennis ball gates and the 3D printed gates, hopefully, which is not too confusing. The Banana here narrowly escapes a gate strike on gate 3, and now has to figure out how they want to manage the ascent here of Undertaker to get to gate 4 up top. The RC 4-wheel drive Milestar Patagonias are actually surprisingly good once you discard the included foams and prepare yourself for the price tag. I wouldn't say that they're good enough to outfit a fleet, but if you're trying to make something, you know, match the real world thing, you can't have a Banana without Patagonias on it. So far, so good for the Banana. Clean till this point. The rocks get a little big and a little difficult on the middle, right around here. And the Banana is going to take a little roll down, but powers out of it. And there are no, as with most of these, there are no off-limits sections. You can use as much of the course as is necessary to get yourself lined back up. See how the banana approaches it on his second try. Pulls around further to his right, which seems like a good idea. Slides a little bit, but cleanly through what memory serves me as probably gate 5. Let's say that that's gate 5. There's a little dead space here before the near vertical ascent into gate 6, but it's a high grip area, so it shouldn't be too bad. Banana is cautiously trying to find footing here. Gate spacing is appropriately trail truck wide for this round. We weren't capitalizing on skinniness of gates, but rather on how difficult are the gates to get to. Drag brake's not holding him up, so now he's got to approach around to gate 8. That's 7 or 8. We couldn't be bothered to make markers that go beyond the number 6 because we had promised, members of the staff promised themselves, we would not do another round of more than 6 gates, as this is a 6-gate based competition. And then trying to plot out a course this long, the entire running length of this course is about 90 feet. It just didn't seem, and that's a straight line of 90 feet. I don't even know how many feet the competitors have to cover, but it didn't seem possible to space 6 gates out over a 90-foot course. Banana's swinging it around, opting not to use a reverse, and hoping not to fall into the pond. Drops down to the bottom and now has to make a decision about, do they want to continue to push this to their left, or do they want to loop it around? And the combination of pipe and mortar mix makes the choice for them. Throws a little baby loop down there to get back online. This particular gate here used to be difficult because it was like a mini bucket. A wheel would drop in right about, he's got to get a little further up, right about there. And then it has a tendency to just squirt you one way or the other. But Banana handled it quite easily. It does put the competitors out onto a side hill. And this is one of those instances where I do believe that it is steeper than it looks. Banana's going to come down. I genuinely believe the right hand, the low side marker on this gate would be impossible to hit. As I say that, there's probably someone that could hit it. But I don't even know how you would get a wheel down there unless you fell off. So it's a bit of a gimme gate because we're coming into the close here of this run, and this is where the gates are going to start to get kind of bad. This edge of the beast has proven problematic for everyone that's had to pass a gate in this section. The Banana has managed to get through this gate 11 without issue. What you'll see here has a bit of a drop off, rolls into the trench and lands fully turtled. So there's really no way out of that. So he is reset back to the gate. Luckily he had just cleared that gate, so he's going to attempt a wider run down the side hill. But you see the orientation of the what is the final scoring gate, and that's not precisely the angle you would want to take for this. But the Banana dropped in a place that he didn't want to drop in, so now he has to deal with the consequences of his own actions. He's going to swing it back down around the bridge, try to come at it again. Approaching back up again. He's now going to try to loop it around and enter the bridge from the other side. No time limits. Competitors are generally pretty quick. If we did set a time limit, you'd have to give at least a minute a gate, I figure. And no one comes close to that. Another roll off the hill. The banana was starting around here, was having some steering issues. And we have not looked at those yet. And he has failed the cyclone, fallen in. And if you'll recall, that was gate 11. He had not cleared 12. So if you roll twice on one gate, you exceed the gate maximum of 19 points. So he is just reset at the next gate. He finishes through. So all that hullabaloo in the middle gets erased. He ends with one reverse and one gate max for 21 points, which over 13 gates, it's not a terrible showing. And now we'll see how the Ironsides, who by comparison is as quiet as a church mouse relative to the cacophony coming out of the banana. So Ironsides pretty easily makes his way down through 1 and 2. He's going to make it across the flats towards 3, and we'll see how he orients himself on the climb to make it up through 4. The smaller tires, it's been mentioned many times by virtually everyone involved that the oddball 4.3-inch size of the Axial Ripsaw, it might be the perfect defender tire, because with the portals, you're effectively gaining 12 millimeters of ground clearance. So when you lower the tires, even just that little amount, it's maybe 8 millimeters shorter than another tire. The CG of the vehicle drops somewhat significantly. And all that Ironsides has done to him positively is that he's got big, cheap Amazon knuckle weights on all 4 wheels. He is stuck here, and he was given some moments here as he was getting a little bit of motion. There was a little bit of wiggle in the front end, but he could not extricate himself, so he was reset back to what my brain tells me is gate 4. Given another attempt here to go at gate 5. Another battle of effectively full width bumpers. His front bumper is now a cut up front bumper for a 10.3, I believe. It does not fit super great. It has been cut up a lot. But, you know, he needs a bumper, so that's what he's got. The start of this day's proceedings were delayed quite a bit due to the absolute horror show that is the ISDT ESC70. It would not initialize. Fully charged battery, and let me try to remember the steps that were gone through in an attempt to get this vehicle out onto the course as he strikes that gate and authoritatively strikes it, not just brushes it. So Ironsides was set up, the throttle would not initialize. The ESC was paired with the app and it would recognize, but still no throttle. Due to, I guess, the current pairing, I could not recalibrate throttle, so I deleted the ESC from the profile, repaired the ESC to the profile. It still would not calibrate. I deleted the app, reinstalled the app, repaired the ESC, recalibrated the throttle, and this got it to work. Now mind you, if we distill it down to the basics of what happened, there's no, it's indefensible. There's no reason. No other ESC I have. There are currently 17 operable crawlers in the Crawler Canyon fleet, and there is one of that group of 17 who will not just power up and run on the first try, and it is this one, because it is the only rig fitted with an ISDT ESC70. I have no clue of any kind how the throttle would go out of calibration on this vehicle, as it's still using, it's the only vehicle in the fleet on a RTR radio. It's on the Traxxas TQI. It doesn't even have a throttle trim adjustment. It's not like it can go out of adjustment. It either works, the radio either turns on or it doesn't. All other functions work just fine. Taking an interesting tack here, progressing through 11, just throwing it in reverse, taking the bridge, eliminating all of that hullabaloo that the banana went through, if he can manage to clean it and stay high on the first attempt. And it looks like he's got a pretty good run at it. He had a little mix of materials in the middle. Did well on some and not so great on the other. And we're going to see how the scores tally out as Ironsides finishes his run with 2 reverses, 2 gates, and 1 rollover for 28 points. And that's pretty much how we do the wildcard round, except I'm getting a note here. I've been slipped a paper that says, now they get to do it in reverse. And I don't mean they're going to back up through the whole thing. I mean they're going to do the whole course reversed, so backwards, which should genuinely be quite interesting, because some of these gates, like what was 11 and is now 3, I don't know how competitors are going to go about approaching this one. The banana has slid really left, has hit what is effectively gate 2, but I want to keep calling gate 1. He's now going to go over the bridge, and I already think I have an idea. Oh no! Is he gonna? He's out. He's out. There's a reverse. There's another reverse. The banana's having a day. So he's reversed out. Now he's going to progress through the gate. He has to back through this gate, because you have to clear the gate with forward progress in the area that the arrows designate. So he's cleared the gate this way. Now he goes through the gate this way. So that gate is clean. And a big part of the reason why there's 13 gates is because of how gate maxes work with the 19-point max, you know, to try to install a little bit of brevity here. Otherwise, these runs could take forever. He gets as close as physically possible to the right-hand marker on that gate, but does not hit it. I think because he was trying to set himself up a higher line. As I had mentioned a little earlier, the banana was having some steering issues. You can see that wheel is not turning enough. The techs have not looked at the rig yet to see what the problem is. It could be something as simple as a couple splines off of the servo horn. And he fell, but it was watched in replay. You all can watch it in replay as well. He did not hit the marker as he fell through, so it was neither a rollover nor a gate. He moves on. Now he has to approach the Pink Nightmare, which is an easy ascent here. It's exceptionally high grip. But that exceptionally high grip is going to come into play with the banana's steering woes on the day. That was full lock right there. He has far more steering to the right than the left for whatever reason. But mid-run, you have 2 choices. You can either keep going with your steering not working correctly, or you can take the DNF, which a DNF is effectively 19 times the number of gates. So that would be 247. That's a big number. Moving up, this is roughly the midway point. The banana is doing, that's a touch. I was just going to say the banana is doing pretty well for someone that does not have full steering throw. And I suppose, ironically, this has happened to Ironsides in the past, where he lost a good bit of steering, which turned out to be his OE servo dying. There's another gate. I don't know if that was 2 gate strikes in a row or 3, but when you lose a significant amount of your steering, it's going to make things very difficult, and Banana is finding out just how difficult that can be. But we do have to remember that Ironsides has to run this in reverse as well. That was definitely 3 gates in a row. So Ironsides has advantages and disadvantages, perhaps sandwiched atop one another relative to the Banana. The Banana is significantly lighter. The Banana's body weighs far less than one would think. That Axial XJ is absolutely paper thin down at the bottoms. It's like 010. Traxxas builds their shells as if they're trying to armor something. So I think the XJ weighs about 5 ounces, and a Defender shell is usually 22 to 25 ounces, depending on how much stuff you've taken off of it. Which is why the Banana has no added weight and could genuinely, I think, benefit from maybe a little. Maybe a diff cover, something. Sliding a little bit. The shadows have all but obscured that low side marker. Let's see if we can detect it better from the other angle. It swings around. He could be wide clear of it. I just can't see. Oh yes, he was indeed wide clear of it. That orange is very orange under certain lighting conditions, and under some it's just not that easy to see. Well, the rest of the markers are cheap practice tennis balls, and they were far more yellow when they were born. So they're perhaps just going to get a rattle can of yellow to bring them back to yellow, and then they won't have weird numbers on them again. I think I just decided to paint all the gate markers again. So he's moving up through what is gate 13, even though it's just a start finish and it should be impossible to hit. The Banana finishes his reverse run with 8 reverses and 4 gates for 44 points. He kind of had a mess there in the middle. The 8 reverses definitely brought about by the steering. So Ironsides now knows exactly what he has to do. If anyone had paid attention to the scores, they would know that Ironsides was trailing after the first run. He's now going to move his way across. Also, I would like to point out, when I say that Ironsides is a stock Defender, he has brass C-hubs in the front, which were takeoffs from Jolly Green, because Jolly Green's knuckles didn't work with these C-hubs. So Ironsides has brass C-hubs and the big kind of circular shaped knuckle weights. They come in a 4-pack on Amazon for about $40, and that's it. Like, the roof basket has been removed and the spare tire has been removed. He's got a wheel and tire change, but like the vehicle itself, the condition of the vehicle, it is a stock Defender with some brass weight on the bottom. Like, he doesn't have an LCG battery tray. He doesn't have, there's no gearing changes. He's got the stock Traxxas pinion and spur. He's still in the stock Traxxas radio. His 2-speed doesn't work. He's got a different steering servo because his steering servo burned up. He's on his 3rd 2-speed servo, and this one doesn't work. So this is a Defender. And of all the vehicles in the competition, Ironsides is second only to Argentin the Phoenix in, air quotes, nothing has been done to this vehicle. He had a little weight added to help offset the weight of that enormous body. To anyone out there wheeling a Defender, thing that you should both do and never do is drive it with the body off, because it will show you how the other side lives. Like a TRX-4 Defender, particularly him, with some 10 or 12 ounces of brass at the level of the axle, without that body on top of it, it sticks to the ground like a crab. Everything you do to a Defender is effectively to offset the weight of the body, because Defender drivers drive Defenders because they're Defenders. It looks super cool. It's got the long wheelbase, and with those tires, it looks almost more scale accurate. They are fun to wheel, and in their stock configuration, you got unlockable diffs, you got a 2-speed, you got all the stuff. And the thing is, the stock geometry on a TRX-4 is actually really, really good. Oh, killed that marker, but kept it on all 4 wheels. Wheels are on both rigs having problems right there, dead center. I think that is the middle gate. That one that they both hit. We'll see if a long wheelbase can clear this rock a little more easily. The work crew apologized for leaving things like shovels, buckets, and wheelbarrows everywhere, but Dry Bone Valley is seriously a work in progress. And when I see a shot like this, all I can think is I can't wait until that rusty shed is gone and that roof cover has been moved, because that's like a vista. When that camera angle looks across, like, look at that. It's so much rocks. So much rocks. So Ironsides, no problem through that gate, moving across the top. He's got realistically, he's got 2 more gates that could present him any issue. He's in Undertaker slot 1, slot 2 is right in front of him. No problem crossing over there. Long wheelbase, the double-edged sword of the long wheelbase. Sometimes great, sometimes gets you hung up on stuff. There's a little bit better angle on that tire. The morning sun is particularly bright. A little walk there, very nice front end walk, not having to use a reverse to get around that marker. Now he just has 2 gates remaining, and one of them is the start finish, so it should not provide too much of an issue. And to anyone that was paying close attention, tell me if any were missed. Ironsides managed to navigate Lucky 13 reverse. Well, let's see. I mean, he could hit this. I don't think he's going to hit it. He could hit this. No, he is clean through what is gate 13. So Ironsides finishes the reverse with 2 reverses and 1 gate for 11 points. And that brings us to the end of the wild card round. So all we need to do is look at the results. For 13 forward, the Banana did respectively well. 1 reverse, one gate max for 21 points. Ironsides followed that up, 2 reverses, 2 gates, and 1 rollover, which we call a flip because R is already taken, for 28 points. Banana with a slight lead there. But then those steering woes caused 8 reverses and 4 gates for 44 points. And Ironsides followed that up with what is effectively a master class at this, with 2 reverses and 1 gate for just 11 points. Which, we'll do the math for you, brings the totals to 65 points for the Banana, and for Ironsides, a scant 39 points. And that's how we do Lucky 13. The winner, if there's such a thing on the day, would be Ironsides with his total of 39. The loser of the day, as this is a non-elimination round, is the Banana. But that loss does land him in the elimination round, where he will face off against the Gate Rover, Team BEARCAT, and Colonel Mustard. And that round will be, of course, up next in this event that we call the Invitational.